Senator Rob Portman.
Oh my gosh. Folks, Eastern Ohio looks like Romney country to me. Thank you all for being here. Great turnout, and thanks to the guys behind me. I've been in this parking lot before. It looked familiar when we drove up. And it was about, a couple years ago, about a year after President Obama was elected. And I was here parked in the RV actually overnight. And I was here to talk to a bunch of the guys behind me during their shift change, 7 o'clock in the morning. At midnight, the bell went off for the midnight shift change. These guys work hard. They work hard, don't they? And then the generator busted, and it was really cold that night. I think my toes were still thawing out. But I went in for the shift change at 7 o'clock. We had a town hall meeting, and we talked a little about some of the issues facing our country. And folks, again, about a year into President Obama's term, look, I didn't vote for the guy, but I wanted him to be successful. Why? Because I want our country to be successful. We all want that, don't we? And so we talked about the debt, we talked about health care, we talked about the jobs and the economy, and we talked about energy and the need for us to develop our God-given resources right here in this country, in this state, to create jobs here in Ohio. And I don't know how many of these guys voted for Barack Obama either, but we were all hopeful, weren't we? They're shaking their heads. Some of them probably did. But the point is, at that point, we were coming out of the recession, and President Obama had made a lot of promises, hadn't he? You know, one of the promises that he made was he was going to get the economy going again. It hasn't worked, folks. Look what's happening. The economy's not getting better. Unfortunately, it's getting weaker. We need a change in Washington, D.C. President Obama was in California recently. I think he might have been fundraising. He spends a lot of time doing that, the fundraiser in chief. And he made a statement. He said, you know what? I deserve to be reelected because my economic policies have worked. Well, let's talk about that. We just had terrible unemployment numbers come out. Last month, unemployment went up, not down. That's not better, that's worse. Unfortunately, we just learned that in the second quarter of this year, economic growth went down, not up. It was bad enough at 2%. 1.5% means we're not creating jobs in this country. We're losing jobs. It's not working, is it? Well, don't leave it up to me. Let's leave it up to him. His own words. When I was here on this parking lot talking to these guys behind me, President Obama was saying, if you shove that $1 trillion stimulus through the Congress that grew the size and scope of government bigger, then we're going to create jobs, he said. And in fact, you know what he said? He said that as of right now in 2012, unemployment would be 5.6%. Folks, it's 50% higher. Is it working? No. He said, you know what? You shove that health care law through the Congress and pass that thing, the big government approach that puts the government between us and our doctor, you know what will happen, he said? Health care costs will go down. In fact, he said it'll go down on average $2,500 for every family in Ohio and around the country. Folks, the Congressional Budget Office, which is a nonpartisan group, just came out with their latest study, added another $300 or $400 to what that health care law is costing us. Guess what? It's not $2,500 less expensive. It's $2,500 more expensive for each of us as families here in Ohio. Is it working? And then he said, well, you know what? We got this big debt and deficit. You elect me, I'm going to cut the deficit in half. That's what he said. And we talked about it here at this town hall meeting. Folks, just last week, the Obama administration told us this year again, we'll have a $1 trillion deficit. We're leaving that to our kids and grandkids. It's immoral, folks. That means we're going to have 4 years in a row of $1 trillion deficits. We've never had one before, and now we're about to have our 4th year. You tell me, is it working? Of course it's not working. But here's the good news. We've actually got somebody running for president who knows how to create jobs. Somebody who understands that it's the private sector, not government, that's going to turn this country around, that it's the people here today working hard and getting a reward for hard work that are going to make the difference in terms of getting us out of the weakest economic recovery since the Great Depression. That man is Mitt Romney.